Hello and welcome to the House of Cards podcast. I know I've been on break for a few weeks now, but I'm back in business. Coming up today, we've got Richard Hammond reveals Top Gear crash memory loss fears, Zach Brown on no reason to expand the F1 grid for new teams if they pay a fair fee, and will there be a third season of Clarkson's Farm? All that and more is coming up after this. Before we get straight into it though, I would like to point you in the direction of the description below, as I have now launched a new line of merchandise to coincide with the ending of Series 4 and the beginning of Series 5. Links to all things will be in the description below, and if you would kindly check out my merchandise to coincide with this ending of this series and the beginning of the new one, then I would be greatly appreciative. Thank you very much for listening, and let's continue with the show. That was Sam Ryder, Put a Light on Me. Now though, Richard Hammond reveals Top Gear crash memory loss fears. Former Top Gear host Richard Hammond has said he fears his worsening with memory could be linked to his 2006 crash. Hammond suffered serious head injuries in the crash, which happened while filming at a site near York. He told the Diary of a CEO podcast his working memory was good, but he worries about his long-term memory, which was not brilliant. The TV presenter, who was 53, added he was too scared to get checked for conditions that might have such an effect. Hammond crashed a jet-powered dragster called the Vampire at nearly 320 miles per hour while filming for Top Gear at the former RAF Elvington Air Base near York. He recovered and returned to the show in early 2007. Speaking to podcast host Stephen Bartlett, who is also a Dragon on Dragon's Den, he said his injuries could mean there is an increased risk of a condition linked to memory loss. I have to consciously write memories down and work hard to recall them sometimes. It might be because I'm 53, it might be because I'm working a lot and I'm tired, it might be the onset of something else, he explained. Hammond did not directly refer to early onset dementia, but said he probably needs an MRI scan. But he added that he was quite forgetful as a person, so I do drop the ball. I forget stuff, I forget keys. That's just me. That's not a function of something going wrong. It's just how I am, he said. More after this. Formula One is back in 2 weeks' time, and Zach Brown, the CEO of McLaren Racing, is speaking out on if new teams should pay a fair fee. Zach Brown sees no reason why Formula One cannot expand the grid if new teams meet the required criteria and pay a fair franchise fee ahead of talks next week. This from Autosport.com. The FIA announced earlier this month that it was appealing for expressions of interest from potential new F1 teams, with a view to expanding the grid to 11 or 12 teams as early as 2025. Andretti Global is currently the most vocal party looking to join the F1 grid in the future, securing a partnership with US automotive giant General Motors for its entry proposal. But the reaction from the current teams and F1 itself about Andretti's plans and potentially expanding the grid has been lukewarm, amid concerns of the impact on prize money payouts and the stability of the existing field. Although any new team would have to pay a $200 million dilution fee that would be split between the existing squads to make up for the drop in prize money, there are concerns that this figure has been set too low under the Concord Agreement. The topic is set to be discussed in next week's F1 Commission meeting, with some parties thought to be looking to at least triple the figure under the next Concord Agreement. McLaren Racing CEO Brown called General Motors an unbelievable automotive manufacturer and noted Andretti's history in motorsport. He said he would be happy to see the grid expand so long as any newcomer could be beneficial to F1 as a whole. Our general view is that so long as a team is additive to the sport, whether it's an 11th or 12th team, and can help make the pie bigger, drive greater awareness, and we all get more sponsors. We get more media deals, and they pay what's a fair franchise fee, which all sports have. Then I see no reason for them to join. Brown told Autosport. It's ultimately up to the FIA and Formula One to determine whether they tick all those boxes of criteria. But assuming they do, then very welcome to race against them. Andretti Global chief Michael Andretti hit out at the existing teams for showing greed in their response to his plans last month, a comment F1 Stefano Domenicali recently said he thought was not smart to have made. Haas F1 boss Gunther Steiner said last week how he saw no upside and just risk in possibly expanding the grid, noting the current stability of the series. But Brown said he was not surprised by the reaction, saying, "I found some Formula One teams very short-sighted in their view on not taking a longer range view of what are things that can grow the sport, and they kind of think about here and now. Unfortunately, I'm not surprised some of our competitors are quite short-sighted in their thinking." Up next, we've got will there be a new series of Clarkson's Farm from the Radio Times? All this and more is next. Up next, will there be a third series of Clarkson's Farm from Amazon Prime Video? Now, going by the widely successful second series and, of course, first series, Clarkson's Farm has already been renewed for a third series. But anyway, we'll have a read of what Radio Times has to say. The Jeremy Clarkson documentary is back for a second season, but will there be a third? Jeremy Clarkson has reopened the doors of Diddley Squat Farm Shop for Clarkson Farm Season 2 on Prime Video, which details his grand plans to diversify his operation with a new restaurant. And fans who've already binged the 8-episode season will no doubt be wondering whether there'll be a third season. Clarkson recently faced a serious backlash for a controversial column he penned about Meghan Markle, and following that, Amazon announced it won't be working with the TV presenter beyond seasons of the Grand Tour and Clarkson's Farm that have already been commissioned. While it has since been reported that Prime Video's discontinuation of the show is unrelated to Clarkson's comments, the future of Clarkson's Farm still remains uncertain. So, will we be getting a third season of Clarkson's Farm, and what will happen to the show now that season 2 is here? Read on to find out. Yes, it appears so. On Monday night, 13th of February, Clarkson was asked on Twitter, "I loved watching it on Saturday and just passed. I love the show and can't wait for a third season. Is there one?" Clarkson then replied to the account, "There is one." The show was renewed for another season in October last year, with new characters joining Jeremy Clarkson's Chipping Norton Farm. As for whether we'll be seeing more of Clarkson on Prime Video in the future, according to Variety, the Grand Tour presenter won't be appearing on any new shows beyond 2024. This includes the Grand Tour, which is expected to conclude after 4 more specials, the last of which should air in late 2024. Release date speculation for Clarkson's Farm Series 3. While Prime Video is yet to confirm whether the third season of Clarkson's Farm will arrive, when the third season of Clarkson's Farm will arrive, it is likely that the show will be back in 2024. If the reports are true that Clarkson won't be appearing in any Prime Video projects beyond late 2024, then the third and most likely final season of Clarkson's Farm will need to land on the platform next year at the latest. That being said, Season 2 has taken a year and a half to hit our screens. However, this was most likely due to the COVID pandemic, which features towards the end of Season 1. We don't know much about the third season of Clarkson's Farm. However, Prime Video has teased that fans can expect a few new faces to appear at Diddley Squad. The next season will see Clarkson get up to more farming shenanigans alongside his girlfriend Lisa and friends Caleb, Gerald, and Charlie, whilst inventing new ways to use the 513 unused acres of his farm through typical Clarkson crafted schemes. Speaking about the new season, Clarkson said in October, "I'm genuinely thrilled that we are doing a third season of Clarkson's Farm. I've had some great new ideas, all of which made Charlie, Lisa, and Caleb deeply unhappy." Meanwhile, Caleb added that he's over the moon to be taking part again in the show. Well, they do say a third time's a charm. Maybe this will be the season that Jeremy finally starts taking advice from a real farmer. And that's it for this week's podcast. I'll be back soon with another one. Thank you very much for listening, and don't forget to check out my merchandise at the link below. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.